Tecumseh by Jivan Raymond. Tecumseh led his army of Inuitsin, the War of 1812. On the British side, he was determined to defend his lands. He was killed in the war, on October 5, 1813, near Moravian Town. Tecumseh is an Aboriginal, and they are an important part of the fur trade. They would trade otter pelts and beaver pelt for goods from the British, and they used their routes to get to places where they would trade. Aboriginals have lived in BC for many years, and they had their own societies and cultures and territories, also laws, but then settlers came to BC in the mid-18th century. BC was taken from the Aboriginals by the British, and they began to colonize it. When the British were there, they started to chart Canada on their trading routes, and when the Industrial Revolution came around, the Aboriginals would work as gold miners, fishers, hunters, and labor workers, and they still kept their traditions and were struggling to establish new economies. British would use trading routes that the Aboriginals established first, so Canada was charted by the British first. They also colonized it. When the Americans, British, and Canadians joined together, the Confederation formed, and it had a big impact on the Indigenous people. In 1867, the federal government assumed responsibility over Indigenous affairs from the colonies with the purchase of Rupert's Land. In 1870, the Dominion of Canada extended its influence over the Indigenous living in that region. Tecumseh is not directly connected to most of the information in this sheet and video, but it is associated with him in general. Sources: Canadian Encyclopedia, History Museum.